A news journalist reported on his own crimes. This case takes place in Kichovo, Macedonia, which for the most part was a quiet town. The news reported mainly on the government, schools, and so on. So there wasn't much going on in this sleepy town, which most people would think is a good sign. But of course this wasn't good enough for 55-year-old Vlado Taneski, who had been working as a journalist for over 20 years. Although Vlado was a respected journalist, there wasn't much for him to write on or cover in the media. But luckily for Vlado, his readership would rise thanks to a shocking case he would cover. In 2005, a local cleaner had gone missing and her body was later found. She had been essayed and then murdered and wrapped in plastic bags. Vlado wrote in-depth investigative reports. The locals of the town praised him for his detailed work and effort to help police and investigators. Vlado himself was pleased to see his work recognized. Soon 3 more women would go missing, their murders similar and all the same age range, late 50s, early 60s. And in a strange way, this was great for Vlado. Again and again, he paid close attention to details of each case, his columns quickly becoming a crowd favorite in the small town. But what's strange and bizarre, Vlado knew too much about the case, details that the police hadn't shared with the public. Police quickly became suspicious of Vlado's coverage. Why did he know so much information that no one but the police knew about? Did Vlado know the killer? Police thought maybe Vlado knew who the murderer was and didn't want to tell authorities so he could continue getting the attention he was for his media coverage. Well, the truth was far worse and sinister. Vlado knew who the killer was, and it was him. He was the killer. Over the 3 years, Vlado had tortured women, assaying them, and then strangling them with a phone cord. For his wife and colleagues, this was a complete shock. The Vlado they knew was soft-spoken and gentle. And remember how I said that he had strangled the woman with a phone cord? Well, Vlado wrote about this. This is what gave him away, and ultimately led to his arrest. Police had initially only released that the woman had been strangled, but not with what they had been strangled with, or the specific type of cord used. I'm not sure what Vlado was thinking, but how was he going to write about news articles without releasing so much information that only he would know, unless this is what he wanted. Maybe Vlado wanted to get caught. When police searched Vlado's home, they discovered pornography and notes about the crimes. For officers, it was like he was playing games with them all along. But for the families of the victims, things would take a darker turn when they found out the serial killer was Vlado. See, Vlado had actually interviewed the families of the victims and even took photos with the sister of one of the victims. Zoran Temilkoski, whose mother was one of the victims, said, "He came to our home, we talked, he asked for details." In 2008, Vlado Taneski was arrested and DNA discovered on the bodies of the victims was found to be his. Unfortunately, Vlado was only charged for 2 of the murders, and before he could be charged for the 3rd, he committed suicide by drowning himself in a bucket of water. Now, one may think the motive was to enhance his career. However, it was later discovered that all his victims lived in the same neighborhood as him and knew his mother and were cleaners just as his mother was. They even resembled her in ways. Vlado didn't have a great relationship with his mother, and it was speculated the murders somehow helped him resolve inner issues. Whatever the case may be, it is deeply sad and disturbing. I hope the victims can now rest in peace.